Venice, Florida is adding 4 brand new communities in 2026, but most people have no idea how different they're going to feel from each other. Over the last few years, Venice has quietly become one of the fastest growing areas along Florida's Gulf Coast. New construction is pushing east. Welland Park and the new master plan community that falls under Northport's jurisdiction but holds a Venice zip keeps expanding, and buyers from all over the country are pouring in looking for lifestyle, not just square footage. But here's where people get it wrong. They see new community and assume they're all basically the same. Same floor plans, same amenities, same vibe. They're not. One of these neighborhoods is built for people who want their calendar full. One is designed for privacy and space, and one's going to attract second-time Florida buyers who already know what they don't want. And that's the difference between loving your move to Venice and quietly wondering why it doesn't feel the way you thought it would. So today we're going to break down the 4 new communities that are coming to Venice in 2026, what they're about, who they're perfect for, and who should probably stay far away. Because in this market, it's not about picking a new house. It's about picking the right version of Venice. So here's what we're really unpacking today. These 4 new communities coming to Venice in 2026 are not just different price points or different builders. They're built around completely different lifestyles. One is structured around activity and built-in momentum. One prioritizes privacy and separation. One is going to attack buyers who've already done Florida once and are choosing differently this time. And one is positioned for people who want polish without the pressure of constant social energy. So as we walk through each community, I'm not just going to tell you what's being built. We're going to show you who it's actually for, who's going to thrive there, and who's going to feel like they choose the wrong version of Venice 6 months in. Because with everything expanding in 2026, you don't just want new, you're going to want alignment. And once you see how differently these 4 positioned, you are going to understand why that distinction really matters. And this is where having the right local guidance actually matters. If you're trying to figure out which of these communities fits your real life, not just the listing photos, this is what we do every single day. We're Lisa and Heather, local Venice real estate agents. Our job is to help people make smart choices without learning the hard way. I actually used to work for one of the top builders right here in Welland Park, so I know these builders, these contracts, like the back of my hand. If you want clarity instead of guessing, call, text, or email us. Our contact info is all in the description below. Here's the part nobody says out loud. These new communities aren't popping up because Venice is trying to get bigger. They're popping up because Venice is trying to stay Venice. I had a client swear they wanted the older Venice, the bigger lots, and no HOA. What they said they wanted and what their daily life actually needed were 2 totally different things. That's the gap these communities fill. And here's the context people miss. Venice has grown nearly 17% since 2020, and it's still climbing around 5.5% a year heading into 2026. Venice doesn't have room to sprawl west. The island is done. Downtown's protected, so growth has 2 options. Break what already works or build smarter on the edges. That's why everything keeps pulling east of I-75, especially along Laurel Road and Welland Park. These communities are Venice saying, cool, come on in, but we're gonna organize this so daily life still functions. And here's the misunderstood part. This isn't about packing people in, it's about removing friction. The new roads, predictable layouts, HOA-controlled chaos. It's Venice acknowledging that most people moving here don't want a fixer-up adventure. Quick real talk moment. If you love messy charm, total freedom, and don't flinch at surprise maintenance, some of these communities will drive you nuts, and that's okay. They're not supposed to be everything to everyone. They're precision built for specific lifestyles. The newest community in Welland Park is the community people skip past because it doesn't scream for attention. If you've been watching Welland Park, there's a brand new community that just launched, and it's very different from anything else out here. It's called Oak Bend, and this is one of the more boutique, higher-end communities, not your typical large-scale neighborhood. We're talking just under 200 homes total. There are 2 builders here, Toll Brothers and ICI Homes, and that is a big deal. Toll is going to be your more semi-custom builder with really clean finishes, lots of design options, and floor plans generally ranging from about 2,100 to just under 3,000 square feet. IC, on the other hand, it's going to lean more custom, giving buyers more flexibility and layouts and structural changes. Their homes can go up to over about 3,200 square feet, so it's a great option for someone who doesn't want something that feels really cookie cutter. Base pricing here, and that is the pricing, guys, before you add lot, structural, and design. It's going to be starting in the high 600s and quickly move into the 700s and 800s, depending on the builder and the upgrades. So this is definitely not an entry-level Welland Park community. It's competing with more communities like Everly and Palmyra. Overall, home sizes are roughly going to range from 2,100 to 3,800 square feet with both 1- and 2-story options. You're going to notice here bigger homes and more spacing compared to some of the dense neighborhoods like Sunstone or Lakespur. The amenities here are more understated too. Think resort-style pool, clubhouse, pickleball, and trails directly leading to the Grand Lake, right out your back door. You're still going to get full access to everything Welland Park offers, including downtown. The biggest takeaway here is that Oak Bend is really for the buyer who wants new construction but more space, privacy, and a higher end feel without going fully custom on their own lot. This is the kind of neighborhood you choose when you don't need your house to prove anything. Quick gut check. Tell me which one you value more, total peace and quiet or being right in the middle of everything. No wrong answer, but Oak Bend absolutely has a favorite. But let us be clear, if you want energy at your doorstep, events every weekend, and a built-in social scene, Oak Bend might be just a little bit too quiet. But that's not a knock, that's the design, and that's where things are gonna get interesting. Because right after Oak Bend comes a community that flips the entire lifestyle equation on its head.
Here's the quotable truth. In Esplanade, the lifestyle comes preloaded. This is the answer to people who don't just want low maintenance, they want built-in momentum. So we're here today at the Esplanade in Sky Ranch because the Esplanade in Welland Park is still underway and models will be available to see this May. The calendar matters here. The amenities matter here. The vibe is intentional. Esplanade is for people who don't want to figure out how to be social after they move. Esplanade isn't just selling you a house, it's selling you a whole version of your week. It's going to be much larger, resort-style community with roughly about 800 plus homes. You've got two main builders here, Taylor Morrison, which will offer a range of villas and single-family homes starting around the 400s with floor plans roughly 1,500 to 2,800 square feet. And then you're also going to have John Cannon Homes, which is a big deal because they're a true custom luxury builder. So John Cannon Homes will be building on select home sites, likely with larger, fully custom homes, starting around 2,800 plus square feet and going well beyond that. So what really sets Esplanade apart, though, is the lifestyle. This is going to be one of the most amenity-rich communities in Welland Park, with a massive amenity center, restaurant, resort-style pool, and even a full lifestyle director to plan events and activities. It's designed to feel more like a resort than a neighborhood, and it has a huge, heavy focus on wellness, social events, and convenience. So if Oak Bend is more boutique and private, Esplanade is the total opposite. It's for someone who wants that active, social, amenity-driven lifestyle with everything built right into the community while still having the option for higher-end custom homes like a builder like John Cannon. Here's the reality check. Most folks don't hear. In lifestyle-driven communities like Esplanade, roughly 2/3 of buyers are relocating out of state, and many choose it specifically because it compresses the start-over phase. During the day, Esplanade feels active in a way that's hard to fake. Pickleball paddles popping by mid-morning, someone cruising past in golf attire like it's a normal Tuesday. The pool isn't just a weekend thing, it's a daily rhythm. And if you're driving back from a quick run through downtown Welland Park around lunch, you feel that polished energy bleed right into the neighborhood. And that's the trade-off. You're buying access to people, to activity, to a pace that says, we're not slowing down just because we moved to Florida. The buyers who love Esplanade usually know that about themselves. But real talk, if you crave that quiet night, minimal interaction, and the freedom to disappear for a week without even noticing, Esplanade might feel like it's just too much. Not wrong, just wrong for you. Because when lifestyle is the product, you're expected to use it. And that's where the next community gets interesting. Because coming up next is a place that pulls the energy back and privacy and quietly appeals to people who want new construction without the spotlight.
Palmyra is what happens when someone doesn't need to be sold. It isn't trying to impress strangers, it's really built for people who already know what works for them. Palmyra is in the back of the Playmore district, and homes here are going to sit on larger, wider lots. This is really a win for people who are trying to escape that cookie-cutter feel of HOA communities. The homes here are going to feel intentional, not oversized for ego. A lot of clean lines, super smart floor plans, enough separation between houses that you don't feel like you're living on top of each other. It's newer construction too, without the chaos of a massive master plan breathing down your neck. So real example here, we had a couple that wanted luxury amenities but really hated the idea of staring their neighbor from their kitchen window. So we turned them over to Palmyra and things just kind of clicked immediately. Once they saw those 75 wide lots, they were sold. Because Palmyra has something for everyone. It includes a mix of builders like Toll, ICI, Homes by Town. You're gonna see homes here generally ranging from around 2,200 to about 4,000 square feet with a strong focus on larger single-family homes. Most of them 3-car garage, super upgraded finishes. Prices base are gonna start in the 600 and 700s and go up. By the time you're done, you'll probably be around the $1 million+ mark. And if you still want resort-style amenities but need less space, Mattamy Coach Homes or the MI Homes townhomes will be the best fit here. What makes Palmyra stand out is that it feels a bit more elevated and less production heavy. So you're gonna have that semi-custom and custom feel just depending on the builder. The amenities here are gonna be low-key compared to something like Esplanade, but residents are still gonna feel like they have access to Welland Park's broader lifestyle, including downtown, the trails, Cool Today Park. Overall, Palmyra is a great fit for buyers who want newer construction, larger homes, and a more refined feel, but don't necessarily need the full-style resort, high-activity community vibe. And that sets us up for the next community, because coming up next is one community that feels brand new, a little bit bolder, and built for people who want to be early to something that's still taking shape.
Here's where a lot of buyers think they've cracked the code. Everly is the most upscale neighborhood in Welland Park, and it feels very different from the more entry-level or production-style communities. Although it is brand new, this community is still missing people's radar. This is a luxury neighborhood with homes by Neil Signature Homes, John Cannon Homes, Lee Weatherington Homes, and Homes by West Bay. The floor plans are ranging from about 2,560 to nearly 4,200 square feet under air, with 3 to 4 bedrooms, 3-car garages, and up to 5 baths. These builders are paying attention to things like expanded outdoor living areas with casitas and oversized ceilings. Homes here are closing between 1.2 to 3 million. On the lifestyle side, Everly has a more elevated amenity package, including a resort-style pool and spa. So Everly isn't flashy luxury, it's controlled luxury, and that distinction matters more in Venice than almost anywhere else. If you're looking for the highest priced homes in Welland Park, this is where you will be buying. Because in this market, luxury doesn't mean louder. It just means fewer variables. Most buyers here are shopping well into north of 7 figures once customization kicks in. And Everly itself stays intentionally small at roughly a couple hundred homes, which is exactly why it never feels crowded. But here's the shift most people don't anticipate. Everly doesn't entertain you, it just protects you. The people who choose Everly tend to be very clear about their boundaries. They don't want to feel like they're opting out every time they say no. Now here's the pivot. Everly works beautifully if you know why you're choosing it. But if you're picking it because it looks perfect on paper without thinking through how you actually live, that's where people get tripped up. Because Everly isn't better, it's just more specific.
So let's talk about the trap almost nobody sees coming. Most buyers, they don't end up in the wrong community, they end up in the right community for a version of themselves that doesn't even actually exist. They shop for how life sounds in their head. Vacation energy, new chapter energy, we finally did it energy. And then the real life shows up on a random Tuesday in August and asks a much less romantic question: how do you actually want your days to run? I watch this play out constantly, especially here where well over half the buyers are relocating from out of state and many are making decisions before they've lived a full season of daily life here in Venice. People fall hard for lifestyle or luxury or quiet without ever actually testing it against their daily routines. We had clients recently settle into one neighborhood and realize months later that it was way too quiet for them and they needed a place with way more buzz. Some people say that they want peace, but they get restless fast. Others, they swear they want community until their schedule fills itself without even asking. That's how people end up frustrated in neighborhoods that look perfect on paper and feel slightly off in real life. And we see this most often in the first 12 to 18 months when the novelty fades and the rhythm of the neighborhood takes over. And here's the uncomfortable truth. These new communities are very good at what they're designed to do, almost too good. If you're aligned with the design, life gets easier quickly. If you're fighting it, the friction just shows up fast. And that is gonna set the stage perfectly for how we wrap this up. Because now that you understand these communities, the psychology and the trade-offs, the real question becomes simple. How do you make the right move without learning the hard way?
Venice doesn't reward guessing, it rewards alignment. That's really what this whole video has been about. Oak Bend for people who want life to run smoothly without the noise. Esplanade for those buyers who want momentum built into their week. Palmyra for confidence-driven moves that don't need a spotlight. Everly for luxury buyers who want polish without chaos. I've watched this play out in real time. The couple who almost forced themselves into a lifestyle community because it looked right, then finally exhaled once they chose something quieter. The relocator who thought they wanted total calm until week 3 when silence felt heavier than they expected. Those aren't mistakes on paper, they're misalignments in real life. That's why we do what we do. We help people choose neighborhoods based on how they actually live, not how a listing reads. If you want to walk through your move before you lock yourself into the wrong rhythm, call us, text us, or shoot us a quick email. Our info is in the description. And if you're still dialing in, head straight to our channel and check out our playlist. There you can check out the neighborhoods, lifestyle trade-offs, and real Venice day-to-day, so you can make this move with confidence instead of crossing your fingers. Thanks for spending time with us. We always appreciate you guys watching, and we'll always see you on the next one.